Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it like a smack addict. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into some real talk. I'm right here with an MA associate, an ex MA associate, active Sureno for many, many years, active Southsider, a Vato that's been down for 27 years plus and continues to do his thing, man. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you one, Mr. Weddle, the Inland Empire, and just let him speak his real, man, speak his truth, man, and speak what really got him incarcerated and things that he had to do to politically make himself known within the California Department of Corrections in that prison system. So without further ado, man, go ahead and let you speak your real, bro.
But basically, that's what occurred, man. That's what occurred right there, and because of our refrigerator was always full. My dad worked at a produce place, so we had produce from every place. Which his brand, he worked for his dad for a business for 35 years. So our refrigerator was always full. They were always at work. So my house became like the house to be, the hangout, bro. And that's what happened, bro. And just through the course of that, I started changing my clothing. I no longer wore, a TNC surf design and Vision streetwear and OP. And next thing you know, I started buying khakis from Kmart and Dickies and Frisco Benz. And I used to have to hide those clothes, bro. At one point I had the front of my hair was blonde, bro. Like how you streak the front of it. I was a skater, bro. I was a skater. I shaved my head, and through that, things just continued to progress. Smoking weed, drinking. You know what I mean? Now staying out all night, hanging out with them. And through the course of around that time, my sister ended up dying in a car accident, bro. She was 22 and I was 14, and as a result of that, my parents were just so emotionally damaged at losing their 22-year-old daughter in a car accident. It was almost like that was the fabric of the family. It just slowly like shredded, and because of that, and everybody went their own way to mourn. I went to the streets, bro. I hung out with Puppet and my homeboy Drifter, and I stood at their houses, and I met another homeboy and another homeboy, and I think of it now like we were so young. Like I don't understand how that could have occurred, but that's in truth. That's how it occurred, bro. And the progression just slowly occurred, continue. Hanging out with these guys, hanging out in the streets, and then through the course of that, I got into some trouble. Stole the car. I went to juvenile hall. Then from juvenile hall, I got out like a week later. My parents were there immediately, and then probably not even a month later, we climbed up onto this roof of all these buildings, and at the end of the line of buildings was a bank. So we're just up there playing around, being kids. And when we were up there on that roof, there was like nails that went all the way around the roof of the bank. We thought they were there for pigeons. So when pigeons landed, like maybe it prohibit pigeons from landing right there or something. So we were like bending the nails and playing with them. Like they were real. They weren't real nails. They looked like nails. They were thin like aluminum. And what we didn't realize is they were silent alarms. So the next thing the whole place of where all the whole block of the roofing, all the roofs are in order, like together, is surrounded by police and SWAT team. And they thought people were attempting to break into the bank, bro, and arrested us again. And me and two little friends, we went to juvenile hall. And this time they kept us in there for like 3 weeks. And got out again. And then and just the progression, bro, the progression of criminality. It continues to progress. You get away with staying out one night. Your parents don't really, they make a big old deal. Then you stay out 2 nights, and it's through the course of continuation of errors and mishaps and and those type of error decisions. It kind of numbs your parents, bro. Where next thing you don't come home for 2 or 3 days. I'm not talking. The progression didn't occur within a week or a month. I'm talking 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like before you know it, bro. I was full-fledged gangbanger, bro. Full-fledged gang member, hardcore, and thought I was the shit, homie. I didn't respect. I didn't respect anybody, and I just thought, this is what it was really about. In those years, this is the early 90s, bro. 91, 92. Gangs were very, very popular. That's another thing that And people today don't comprehend how when they look at gangs, gangs now are looked upon like scum, low lives, you know, the dirt, man, But in the '90s, like you had all gangster rap, bro. We're coming out of Easy E, NWA, Ice Cube, MTV promoting the hell out of it, American Me, Colors, Boulevard Nights was an older movie, Duke, bro. Like there was movies that promoted that lifestyle. Every channel or every music you turn on the radio promoted that lifestyle of criminality, of being a thug, of being hardcore, of being a gang member. So it was
Exactly.
different. Kids nowadays, they don't they don't they don't look up to gangs because gangs are not popular nowadays. It's not a
Yeah.
fad. But in the early '90s, late '80s, mid '90s, even all the way to maybe the early 2000s, like gangs are very, very, very popular. You couldn't go to a swap meet and not see gang paraphernalia or attire being sold there. You couldn't go to
Exactly, bro.
a liquor store and not see hats being sold with your neighborhood on it or your area or your county or belt buckles with initials on it. And just it was the lifestyle of that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, man. I know I lived that too myself, man. So as you progress to getting more into the gangs, bro, and getting in, I see that, you caught a case, bro. You caught a case that ultimately sat you down for a long time, bro. Sat you down for a long time. How long are you doing, my brother?
Right. I got 36 years, 4 months to life. That's what I'm doing. I caught this case 2 months into my 17th birthday in 1995, and you do the math. I'm working on my 27th year. I'm 2 months into my 26th year right now. I'm a
Yeah, man.
juvenile offender. I fell under the um, the the fit and proper stuff. It was called a fit and proper hearing, where they bound you over to adult court, tried me from a juvenile, and sent me from juvenile hall, and from juvenile hall bound me over into adult court, and from there, bro, from there I went to trial. They offered me a deal, man, 15 years, and I declined it. I just think that, in my mind, there's no evidence. I remember my mother; she's no longer with us, but at the time, I mean, she said, "You're not taking no 15 years. You didn't do this." You know what I mean? And the truth is, I did do it, bro. I did do it. As a 43-year-old man now, you know, I think of that 17-year-old kid, and it's so far in the past. It's almost like currently I'm doing time for somebody else. I can't even remote identify with that individual, the person I am today versus the person that I was then. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all, in retrospect, think back on life as youthful young kids and the error decisions we made, and we can't identify with that kid. None of us can, and it's very similar to me. Like I feel like I'm doing time now for somebody that I can't even identify with no more.
Exactly,
But
bro. I feel you.
because of the youth laws and the times of Pete Wilson and Gary Davis, the hardcore stance on locking up kids. There's a sad thing, bro. There's dudes in here that have been here since 14 years old. I got a really good friend he's been down over 20 years. For a crime he did when he was 15. Like that hardcore stance on no second chances, nobody, tough on crime. Like it's really affected people, bro. Like I mean, I know I did this, but I know at a certain point in my sentence, I became very remorseful, bro. I became very remorseful and very regrettable of the decisions I made. And it didn't happen overnight. I'll be honest.
Oh
I
yeah.
was honestly very proud. I was honestly very proud of what I did for a long time, man. And I would probably say probably for 15 years, I was probably very proud of what I did. And
Yeah.
then just through course of time, man, it took time to finally realize like there's real consequences to my choices, man. It affected my mother, my father, but it also affected his family, man. They lost a brother, they lost a son. I mean, they lost a dad that they never knew, because I know he has kids, which is really crazy because uh, the victim was a blood. I mean, and at those years it was very racial. We didn't get along with Bloods or Crips, or anybody that was black for that matter. We was on that racial shit. It's almost raza, putting it out. We're, we're together, man. All Mexicans, straight up. Fuck Africanos. It was that type of ideology, that type of thinking. But now, bro, I mean, obviously it's different. Bro. Now it's different because I'm not a youthful child anymore. I'm not a young man that was misled and misguided by movies, by gangster rap, by friends. We pumped each other up, bro. By music, through homeboys, through parties, through grills. Like we pumped ourselves up, bro. We were pump up cases, and we all try to do more than the next one. That meant we were harder or more tougher or more committed to the game. But in truth, bro,
Exactly.
like we were all scared kids, bro. None of
Oh
us knew
yeah.
what the hell we were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
None of
all
us knew what
we
the
all
hell we
found
were doing.
ourselves in that situation, bro, where the dictation of someone older than us or someone that had that look, bro, you know what I mean? We kind of just wanted to prove ourselves
Yeah,
or show that we were about it. So fast forward, bro, fast forward, you find yourself incarcerated, you're in the mix of doing your time. You're an active Southsider, Sureño man, and from what we talked about, bro, you kind of got heavily into it, bro. You was in there functioning, bro, and you met a lot of historical figures or a lot of vatos, man, that were had a lot of weight. You know what I mean? Uh,
yeah. Through course of time, bro. Through course, just as much as I was committed to the local street gang, I came into from juvenile hall, and my career started from jump, bro. I was hitting dope in juvenile hall, and I would go on the county jail on the bus in juvenile hall because in juvenile hall we had contact visits. And I had an older homeboy at the time, and he's the one that put it all together. And we would set court dates up at the same time, and I would be passing the clavo to them older homies right there, or them also in the cages with us at the same exact time, bro. Straight passing clavos to the big homies, and they weren't big homies, bro. They were associated with the big homies. And passing clavo right there in the bus, in the county jail bus, bro, to them, because I was a juvenile offender, so they put me in the cages, and that's where everyone else was in the cages that were of merit, high power, big homies, stuff of that nature. So would set the court dates up, pass the clavo right through, and they were loving me, bro. So when I finally turned 18 on my 18th birthday, they transferred me to the county jail. I go with a clavo of yesca, an ounce of no quarter of skunk weed, and from jump, bro. Like I mean, and you come in with the sack, bro. You're a celebrity, homie. And even though it's a sack of weed, bro. Like what I mean, people love to smoke, get high, do drugs. That's one thing about these facilities and jails. It's full of addicts. You know what I mean? It's full of addicts. So I mean, from jump, bro. Like I mean, even though and on top of that, in the Hispanic community, in gangs at that time, the fact that my crime was not a racial crime, but that I didn't kill my own or harm my own people, like it was praised, bro. And that's just really, in truth, how it is, bro. It was praised. It was looked upon highly. Like, hey, homeboys out there beefing with these other gangs, you know what I mean? These Bloods and these Crips and not killing our own people type of thing, you know? So from jump, bro, I came in from, from 17 to 18 years old. My 18th birthday, went to the county jail. And the fact that I was already convicted of murder before I even went to the county jail, before I was 18, um, it put me in a position to where, hey, there's everyone else is fighting cases. Homeboys with it, have him do it. And basically, I was doing grunt work, bro. I was doing cleanup. I was holding syringes. I was holding knives. Not on a big level. I had a little. They told me, "Hey, bro, this is the knife for the section here because you're already convicted of murder. Like we're all fighting cases. Why don't you hold it?" But the homies want to know if you'll hold it. Like, yeah, yeah. I was young. I was youthful. I wanted to be part of it. The truth is also, I'm also half Caucasian, bro. I'm Irish. My father's Mexican, and my mother's Mexican. My father's Irish. So that also had to do with my thinking and thought process. Like I had to do more. I had to be more committed because I was not fully Mexican. I was half breed, and it was never really put out there like that. But it was always in my self conscious. I had to do more, and maybe that's where my errors were, bro. My errors were from the very beginning. Ever get involved in this stuff, but the continuation of almost like you're almost like ditching school. You get away one day, and you do it again. You do it again. Do it again. My behavior in here continued to start off from the very beginning, something very small, holding syringes for these older, gang members that were addicts, to a knife. To they wanted us to beat up a guy in the county for. I don't even recall, but they said, in the county jail they use these terms, roll them up. You got to roll the dude up, meaning he can't stay and that unit or that section that he's basically got to go. So you got to beat him up and tell the cops either stop it and separate you guys and move him into another dorm or another unit, or you guys or whatever the case, but he can't stay there for whatever the infraction was within the gang or the group in the jails. Because the truth is this, for your viewers or listeners who don't know, the gangs run. I don't care what part of the state you're in California or any other state for that matter. Gangs run the jails. You know what I mean? Gangs run all the jails. They run all the facilities, and there's rules and regulations within that, within those microcosm of communities. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So whatever the
absolutely.
infraction, so whatever his infraction was, it was probably something very minor. I can't remember. Maybe turning the TV when he wasn't posted, bro. Because in the county jail, the blacks have a day with the TV, the Mexicans have a day with the TV, the whites have a day with their TV. And on their specific days, that the TVs that are shared, then only those individuals are allowed to touch them TVs. So it could have been something very minor. I don't remember, but we beat somebody up, and then we went to the hole, and it was just a continued progression, bro. So finally, I get sentenced in the county jail, and mind you, bro, I mean, as the progression progressed, I actually ended up catching a stabbing at the county jail when I was 18. There was an individual named Michael Balterama, Shady from Ontario Black Angels, and they had paperwork on him that he told on some of his homies. And there was a Mexican mafia member named Mando from Ontario. Uh, his name Armando Barajas. So Mando wanted this dude, dealt with because they had paperwork on him. They had told. So they were trying to get him to go to the yard. He was in my cell. I tell him, hey, bro, let's go to yard, man. Your homeboys say they want to see you. So 2 minutes before we go to yard, he starts going over there at a table with about 5 or 6 other guys, and they're holding hands, bro. And they're praying. And I told him, hey, bro, your homeboy said to go to yard, and they're waiting for you. And he ultimately decided not to go to yard because he said he was gonna, do a Bible study with the other believers of Christianity in the jail, that were right there. So he didn't go to yard, bro. So my own decision. I mean, to get to the cut, bro. I basically say, hey, I don't want to do it in my cell. I'm convicted of a homicide already. I'm already convicted. I'm waiting to go to joint. I don't want nothing that could ever affect me, that I had some individual that would be considered as a rat in my cell. So my homeboys that were there also from my neighborhood said, hey, bro, you want to handle it? I said, I'll handle it. So boom, he sent me a knife, bro. It was made out of in them years, those who have been busted, no members of, or those who don't, regardless if you've been busted, those who recall the old squeezies, the squeegees for the mop. You put the mop in, you push it real hard, and it squeezes out the water from the mop head. So there's a spring in there. So they broke out that spring, heated it, and stretched it, and that's what the knife was, bro. So he sent that to me, and I was like, damn, this motherfucker's big, but oh well, So that useful thinking, that misled thinking again, that not having a conscience, The fucking we went to the cell, me and a dude named Ghost from Verdugo, told homeboy to get up, and homeboy's like, he thought we were gonna smoke a cigarette. Hey, you wanna smoke a cigarette? Set up, and we got on him, bro. We got on him, and he almost got us, bro. He really he rocked both of us at a different point within the incident. You know what I mean? And but it was just two of us, so I mean, or we could have both ended up really getting hurt. Ultimately, he really got hurt, and we got busted and went and sat in the hole. And from the hole, bro, nothing ever came about it because DA wasn't really picking up cases in those years. There, I shot to the joint, bro. I was 18 years old and shot to prison. The Hatchet reception. I'm out of San Bernardino County, so IE. So so we shot to prison, bro, and it was just more of the same, bro. More of the same, more of the same, more about incidents, violence, being committed to the gang, being committed to the lifestyle. I ended up shooting to Tehachapi 4A in 1996. Yard's no good, bro. It's a 50-50 yard. These are before S.H.U yards ever came about. So we get a message that nobody's permitted to stay in that facility. You got 90 days asked out, meaning we need to get off. Can't stay in this yard. So sure enough, bro, That's what happened, bro. We get off, and I go to the hole, and I get a celly, and they say he's no good. I end up beating him up in handcuffs, bro, which is really unfortunate, and it became a major issue or turning point in my life that made me more harder and more committed to the gangs. The reason why is to hit somebody or move on somebody in front of a cop is a form of cowardice. You don't do that. So for me to do that, even though I was 18 years old, it's a violation. You never do nothing in front of no cops. You never do that. That's a cowardice move. Beat somebody up in handcuffs, to not let them have a fighting chance, type thing. So, and because I'm tall, I've always looked a little bit older, even though I was 18. You know, some of the older guys were questioning me, and why would I do that? That's a PC move, it's called. So, um, what happened, bro, is I had to explain myself, bro. I had to explain myself, and I caught a shoe turn, and they forgave me because I was 18 and I didn't know better, and I had just left juvenile hall, and you know, that my heart was there, committed to the gang or the lifestyle, but I didn't have the brains to help navigate those waters. So that's why I was forgiven. So I ended up going to Pelican Bay behind that shit. 18 years old, bro, from Tehachapi, AdSig, 4A, 1996. I shoot to Pelican Bay. And when I get to Pelican Bay, bro, I go to D facility, and there was four individuals there, big homies there, boxer Rene Enriquez from Artesia, the one that went up telling on everyone, writing a bunch of books and stuff. Chavo from Bakers, who I heard he's passed now. Palomino from Fresno, and somebody else was there in D4 at that time. So I shoot right there, bro, and they gave me a 15-month shoot term for beating up the guy in handcuffs. I banged his head in the ground and did all that shit. Like, it was a violent situation. I mean, he didn't have a fighting chance, so of course I was the winner. But they gave me 15 months for it, and they mitigated it because it was my first write-up ever in prison. They took away 3 months. And as a result of taking away 3 months, I did 12-month shoot term, and I think they suspended the last 3 months. He kicked me out to the yard, bro. I was there with Chavo, and Chavo told me basically that don't worry about it. You're a young, useful man, but the individuals who told me to do that, which is a dude named from Santa Monica, that if I ever seen them, for me to kill them dudes, you know what I mean? Because that was wrong for them to mislead me like that. You know what I mean? For me to start my career off from jump, already in question. So I was pissed about it. I was pissed about it that they misled me, bro. I was pissed. So I shoot to 4A, and I shoot to 4B in Pelican Bay. I stay there about 2 weeks, and then they find a bed over there on orientation in A yard because orientation was an A facility in Pelican Bay, and I shoot there, and then I'm there like 20 days, bro, and a couple of dudes um, are questioning an individual at the basketball court because he's passed up. He's declined 2 times already to staff somebody. For those who ain't aware or don't know, like the ideology and the thinking of gangs, bro, is that every one of us have to pay for our bed space. I mean, at some point, you're not gonna kick it for free and kick it on these yards and that are free of trash, free of sex offenders, free of rats, and not be a participant in that life. So at some point, all of us have to pay for our bed space, meaning put in work. So because of the situation of me, you know, uh, uh, assaulting that individual in handcuffs, um, I felt like here's my opportunity that I can clean that situation up, even though it didn't require cleaning up, meaning basically kind of like wash my hands of it, like no one could ever bring it up again because I put in work after that. I walked over there and involved myself in the situation with the individual that they were talking to, which was a guy from Rockwood. He was basically in tears saying that his mother was really sick and ill and that he really couldn't afford to go to the hole right now with his mother in that state. You know what I mean? Like, could they just please work with him? He was in tears, bro. He was pretty much like begging, pleading, because he knew ultimately if he probably didn't do it, being he's already passed up one one time he was already called upon to put in work, he declined. And now this is the second time. There probably wouldn't be a third time. We were probably gonna whacking him because you're required. At some point, everyone's got to take their turn. So in putting in work, can't be always the same people. So what happened, bro, is I involved myself and I told him, hey, what's up, man? Like, what's the issue, man? Like, I'm right here. I'll do it. And they tell me, bro, you just barely came from the back. Like, you've barely been here 20 days. I go, so what? I'm saying this, bro. That's what type of yard this is that I don't want to be right here. Because in my mind, I was committed to the gang. I was committed to it. Like, I had a life sentence. And you know what? This is my life now. So I'm going to do whatever needs to be done. You know what I mean? It be to further my life in here now. So, so they let me do it, bro. They gave me a box cutter. It was melted into a purple lighter. And the dude was in orientation. And he came out from orientation. And me and a dude named Boxer from Claremont, who's been around and well known. And a dude named Crook from Harpies. Set him up, bro. They told me this is how you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? That it wasn't worth getting killed over because in Pelican Bay, A facility, B facility, there's gunners all over the yard. Cops, the officers have guns. I mean, on the roof. So it's dangerous up there. There's been a lot of people killed up there as a result of no warning shots. You know, they shoot to kill pretty much, or shoot to stop the situation that's occurring. So I walked up to homeboy and grabbed him by his forehead and I slit his whole throat with the box cutter from the back of his ear all the way to the front of his neck. I walked away, bro, and I got away with it. I got away. That was the first incident that involved a weapon that I was involved in prison. I was 19 at the time, 19 years old. And then all of a sudden I went from a nobody on the yard to where all of a sudden I'm getting hugs, bro. I'm getting hugs and good job and high fives, so to speak. And from there I go to committee, bro. I go to committee and I asked to go to New Folsom because I have two homeboys in New Folsom. And they tell me that New Folsom's closed for intake, but I can go to Tehachapi. And I'm like, I just left Tehachapi, and I know what's going on Tehachapi. You got to get off. But me and my ideology and my thinking and my youthful thinking at this time, I thought, there's another opportunity to put in work. So I told him, okay, cool. Definitely, I'll go to Tehachapi. So probably 2 months later, I was only up there for about 3 months. I catch the bus to Tehachapi. I'm in orientation, bro. Orientation. And there's an individual that I knew named Beaver from our county jail at the time that was paperwork on him that he had told on his crimes. One of his crimes was on death row as a result of his testimony. And I'm in orientation. It took us like 2 weeks to get cleared. And he was coming out the hole. He was waiting to get cleared from the hole to go to the main line. So we get cleared the same day, and we're allowed to walk to dinner that night. And I got these two white dudes that were next to me, and I told them, let me get in those years, they used to give you a fish kit, which is basically when you drive up to a facility, they give you a little bag, and it has a little piece of deodorant, and usually a little piece of deodorant. Sometimes it don't. Half a bar of soap, a half a bar of soap, a half a bar of soap, a toothbrush, a little thing of toothpaste, like a little tiny thing of toothpaste, and a comb, and a few pieces of writing paper, and a couple envelopes to write home, and a pencil. That's what the fish kits used to consist of. And so and they gave me a razor, and those users give you razors. So I got my razor, broke it open, got the razor blade out of it, broke it in half, got my neighbor's razors, got their razors, broke them in half, and I found like a little piece of wire in the cell, so I put this little wire through it and tied them together through the little holes of the razor, and melted it into a toothbrush. That night, walked out to go to the dinner, our very first night at dinner. He was all happy to see me, like, what's up, man? And I sliced his face, his neck, his back. He was screaming, so he kind of charged me like a football player, kind of put his head down, and I just ripped up his whole entire back. Ripped up his whole back. And the crazy thing is this was also a friend of mine from my youth that we used to hang around in this trailer park in these little apartments. And But the gang, that's what it does to you, man. It distorts your thinking and your conscience of, hey, this guy's my friend. Like, you don't do this to your friends. You become more committed to the lifestyle and to the choices of the gang and decisions of the gang and the politics of the gang than, your own conscious choices of, hey, this is my friend. You don't do that. Like, so what? He did that. What does that concern me?
Yeah,
So, anyways,
definitely.
I catch that. I catch. I got a lot of time, man, to HP. So that incident happens. So obviously I go to the hole, and then and from the hole there, bro. I uh, I got a cellie who volunteers me and him to stab somebody else in the yard because what we were trying to do is we didn't want to go back to Pelican Bay. We want to stay somewhere local. We're from San Bernardino County. Tehachapi is an hour away from our house, 2 hours from our house. Pelican Bay is 16 hours away. So in Crescent City. So our goal was to catch more time because later on that year, Tehachapi was going to open up the S.H.U again in Tehachapi. So anybody and everybody that had to go, bro, we were raising our hand to do it. So we ended up assaulting this white guy named Vamp, who it was Hitler's birthday, and he was screaming and yelling junk, hell Hitler, this and that. So we as Hispanics, as Raza, as Mexicans, took it as disrespect, disrespecting the tier. We go to the yard, me and a homeboy from Poland, jump this dude, sock him up. So I catch 6 more months for that. On top of the 24-month S.H.U I got for the slicing with fever. So now I got 50, I got 24, I got 30 month S.H.U term. And then after we beat those dudes up, they put us on walk alone for like 30 days. And when they moved us, I got busted with a knife taped inside my legal paperwork, my trial transcripts. So they gave me 15 more months for that. So now I got 45 months S.H.U in security housing unit, meaning staying basically in the hole. So we get off of a walk alone, and we get off a walk alone, and we go to yard, we work out, and then they tell us, hey, that this dude's got to go. A dude from Corona, Belon from Corona, from Crown Town. He was no good. He's been on the yard too long because they had a policy out there. You had 90 days to get off. If you stood there, you were considered no good. So, my cellie and me, we raise our hand. And we'll do it. So they give us some razors, man. They're like 3-inch razors. And we slice this dude up. Of all the incidents I've ever been involved in, the thinking and thought process is to go all out. That type of thinking. The object of war is to kill one's enemy at little or at little cost as possible to thee. For a cheap and easy victory is better for everyone. It's like that Sun Tzu shit, bro. You know what I mean? So it was like that type of thinking. Like we pumped ourselves up with philosophy and Sun Tzu and Miyamoto Musashi and Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, Tolstoy, Kant, Nietzsche. Like all these philosophers, bro. Like we read their ideology and we cherry picked on the things that promoted our lifestyle, and we took them and we pretty much brainwashed ourselves, bro, to this thinking of righteousness, of bravery, of what a coward was, and these type of thinking, bro. So of all the incidents I've ever been involved in, I pretty much went all out, everyone to the extreme, trying
Yeah,
to hurt
bro.
these
Yeah, I
people.
understand, bro. Doing shoe terms and being back in the moyos, man. It's always righteous to educate oneself, and we twist those ideologies, just like you said, bro, to basically to adhere to our beliefs and what we're thinking. You know, what I mean, it could go as far as changing one word, man, to twist it to our to our beliefs. So I hear you
Yeah,
right there,
it's true.
brother.
Yeah. We all do it, bro. No matter where you're from, up, down, left, right. We all cherry pick what
Yeah.
fits our ideology. What
So
promotes our ideology.
I wanted to ask you, my brother, doing a lot of oil time, a lot of shoot time. I know you ran into a lot of northerners back there. What was your guys's?
Yeah, for sure.
What was the because I know there was a no open door policy that came in later, meaning if the doors were to crack, everyone was to just stand on a defensive stance, and those things came about. But how was
Yeah.
your interactions with Northerners as far as on the tiras, the respect level? How'd that happen?
It was always professional, bro. It was always professional courtesy. We've always extended a hand to them in regards to fishing. Fishing's where you get your line and you kind of throw it down the tier and they grab it and you tie on your magazines or your notes or it was always professional courtesy, no doubt whatsoever. They never ever disrespected us. We would never disrespect them. It was always professional courtesy, bro. Like they were cool. I'll be honest. Like they were cool. They were just from Northern California. We happened to be from Southern California, and for some reason, you know, you know, we were committed to different lines in the sand, so to speak. And they were all cool, bro. They were all cool. So to speak. I met a lot of NF back there. I was back there for 13 years. Validated associate. I know a lot of them guys. Sombra from San Jose, and Slim from I forgot where Slim was from. Mondo from Merced. Silver was still in good standing in them years. Um, he's from Tulare County. Um, Lencho from Salinas. I mean, they were all back there, bro. Uh, they were cool, bro. They were cool, like really cool, man. One of my good friends was Lencho, and we used to gamble all day, bro. We stayed gambling. We stayed gambling, and on the cut, Lencho would be getting high and shit. We send him the outfit. I didn't use drugs, bro. Like I always loved marijuana, but hard drugs I never did. I never used those drugs. But I was affiliated with some of the major gangs. An individual named Artie from King Cobras, who I was really close with, and as a result of being really close with Artie, I always held all his drugs because I didn't use drugs. So I mean, it was another thumbs up in regards to me because I had all these positive things committed to the gang, committed to the lifestyle, gang related murder on a rival gang member in the streets, which was non Hispanic. Um, Um, and on top of that, I didn't use dope, bro. I didn't use dope. So in their mind, I was always a lot more trusted because a lot of these addicts they do things that are not trustworthy or they make decisions that are in error, and drug related and those type of things, bro. So it was always just another notch in my belt and another thumbs up when they looked at me, and gave me that nod, a homeboy don't use, So I always held homeboy's clout, and as a result of that, bro, like pretty much. Even though it was his sack, it was my sack. Possessions is 9/10 of the law. So I was the man, bro. I was the man, homie. And as a result of that, I was able to look out for Lencho on the cut because I don't know. I'm not overly familiar with the northern politics and ideology. I know roughly, vaguely some of the beliefs and the ideology, but I knew that they weren't allowed to use like that, especially some a syringe and stuff like that. And I like I said, I used to hold homeboy stuff, so I would send him the syringe and heroin or speed and that's how I paid him when we would gamble. And whenever I would win, which was hardly ever, he would pay me off his books. He would send me. The deal was first to $250, automatically has to pay. So everything we bet on was between 25 and $50. That was my relationship with Lencho, man. He was cool, bro. I mean, he was a real bully, bro. Like he was a tyrant. I mean, I thought it was, in my mind, unfortunate how he treated his own people, yet me, a rival fraction, like he loved me to death, bro, and treated me with the utmost respect. But yet my
Yeah,
next door
bro.
neighbors who were northerners, he would get in the van and he would chew them out like they were scum of the earth. And I just thought that was really unfortunate. But on an overall thing, an overall type uh, just program, like yeah, they were cool, bro. They were really cool. They helped us and we helped them. And when we
Absolutely,
got our
bro.
packages, we'd look out for them. They'd look out for us. Um, we would look out for them. They'd look out for us, and other things of that nature.
Yeah,
They
brother.
loved weed. From they were allowed to drink and smoke weed, from what I recall. So anytime we got weed, already say, hey, make sure you give these guys some pot. I mean, that's pot.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
But
and that's what I've heard, man, from several others. People that have been back there, with good, with good names, bro, good jackets, good everything, bro. They basically said, man, the relationship between North and South was respectful. At the same time, man, like I tell everyone, man, you're back there in the moyos, you're back there in them shoes, man. You're around who you're around. That's who's gonna be right there. You guys are all living together, going through the same struggle. So it's always righteous, man, to look out for one's vecino. Um, Look, bro,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to end it right there. We're definitely gonna get back with a part two eventually, brother. Man, I thank you for
All
your
right.
time, bro. I thank you for your time. I know you got an interesting story to tell. We've only just begun. So for the viewers out there, man, this is a real one. Like I said, someone has been around the block in the 6'4", doing it menudo style. The Vato has been in the mix, man, and we've only just begun, brother, to touch on the basis. So I hope you guys got everything that you want coming to you. Hope that you move fast with a purpose. That's called hustling. At the same time, remember, it's all about uniting the raza, north and south, and everyone in between. And we're going to do it in that fashion. Bang, bang, the gun with a real one again.